It took more than love and friendship to win this war. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 weapons that won World War II. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at weapons that played a deciding factor in the outcome of the Second World War. Number 10. The Bazooka. When up against a massive tank, an infantry unit is obviously at a huge disadvantage. As most weapons did not pack a big enough punch to put a dent in these armored vehicles, the US Army developed the M9A1 rocket launcher for the specific purpose of taking down tanks and strongholds. Nicknamed the Bazooka by radio personality Bob Burns, this weapon launched rockets carrying a dangerous substance called pentolite, resulting in an explosion capable of penetrating around 5 inches of armor. Easy to mass produce and relatively lightweight considering their power, the Bazooka was hailed as a key factor in winning the war by President Dwight Eisenhower. Number 9. The M2 Browning. Designed towards the end of World War I, John Browning's M2 machine gun has been employed in nearly every major conflict since the 1930s. Equipped with the 50 BMG cartridges, the M2 boasted firepower and accuracy. But, more importantly, the Browning was rather flexible. The M2 was not only used by the infantry, but the gun served as the primary or defensive weapons for many armored vehicles and patrol boats. Due to its stopping power, the Browning was also involved in aerial warfare, allowing the P-51 Mustang to take down enemy aircraft and damage naval destroyers. Number 8. The P-51 Mustang. Produced by North American Aviation before being employed by the British Royal Air Force and US Army Air Forces, this single-engine aircraft is considered the best mass-produced, piston-engined fighter of World War II. The P-51 Mustang was powered by a liquid-cooled inline Allison engine, an experimental decision which paid off greatly, improving the aircraft's range and mobility, and was later powered by the Rolls-Royce Merlin. Equipped with 6 machine guns, the P-51 could travel over 1,000 miles, or over 2,000 with 2 drop tanks, making it the perfect choice to protect American bomber fleets. In addition to boasting serious destructive capabilities, the aircraft was crucial in gathering intel by flying over enemy territory. Number 7. The B-17 Flying Fortress. With a whopping 4 engines keeping it in the air, the B-17 lived up to its name. Designed and financed entirely by Boeing, the Flying Fortress was mass-produced after the events of Pearl Harbor. Originally armed with 5 .30 caliber machine guns, the B-17 could carry around 9,600 pounds worth of bombs. Capable of taking a vicious beating, the Flying Fortress and P-51 Mustang formed one hell of a team, leading to the Allied forces dominating the skies. Over the course of 3 years, the B-17 was used to deliver crushing blows to Rome, Berlin, and multiple Pacific theaters. Number 6. The MSherman Tank. Sometimes in war, quantity trumps quality. With the Panzer tanks giving Germany an advantage on the ground, America produced the MSherman as a capable alternative. While less resistant and combat efficient, the MSherman benefited from how quickly and easily it could be manufactured and maintained. During the latter years of the war, nearly 50,000 tanks were deployed, allowing for Allied forces to breach deep into areas controlled by Axis troops. What the MSherman lacked in firepower, it made up for in speed and mobility, including a duplex drive version that allowed the tank to travel in water while keeping the turret above sea level. Number 5. The Hawker Hurricane. Best described as a workmanlike aircraft fighter, this is the plane that helped Allied forces through the early days of World War II. Speaking purely in terms of performance, the Supermarine Spitfire had an edge over the Hawker Hurricane, but the latter greatly outnumbered the former. During the Battle of Britain, 1,715 Hurricanes took to the skies, with many ordered to take down German bombers. While Spitfires usually focused on fighter planes, Hurricanes are credited with taking down more than half of enemy aircrafts during the Battle of Britain. Number 4. Essex-class carriers. The Pacific War was decided just as much in the shipyard as on the battlefield. By 1943, America was starting to take the upper hand against Japan, but they were running low on ships. Right when they were needed the most, a new class of carriers hit the scene and turned the tide squarely in America's favor. With an improved radar system and requiring less time to manufacture, the Essex class was a substantial improvement over its predecessor. Between 1943 and 1950, 24 units were created, each capable of carrying around 100 planes. Number 3. The T-34 Tank. This is the tank that halted Nazi Germany's dominance. Growing suspicious of Joseph Stalin, Hitler set out to conquer the Soviet Union by launching Operation Barbarossa. While initially met with success, this operation quickly turned sour when the Soviets introduced the T-34 tank. Capable of besting a Panzer on any day of the week, at least prior to the introduction of the Panzerfaust, the Russians kept the invading forces at bay with sheer efficiency. During the war, over 50,000 T-34 tanks were produced, greatly outnumbering the Panzers and overwhelming the enemy troops. Number 2. The M1 Garand Rifle. In a fight between a semi-automatic and a bolt-action rifle, there will only be one winner. The M1 Garand rifle was used exclusively by the American forces, providing a huge advantage against German and Japanese troops. Capable of firing 8 rounds without interference, soldiers equipped with the M1 Garand could simply do more damage than their bolt-action counterparts. The weapon's straightforward design allowed the combatant to easily maintain it. Alongside the M1 Thompson, a submachine gun with a 30-round capacity, the M1 Garand served as America's primary infantry weapon during World War II. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1. The Atomic Bomb. An explosion heard around the world. Based on Albert Einstein's theories, an atomic bomb works by splitting an atom's nucleus with a single neuron, creating a devastating reaction. The Manhattan Project started in 1939, but the bomb was not completed until 1945. While Germany had already surrendered, a much weakened Japan was unwilling to end the war. Instead of dispatching an army, President Harry Truman approved the dropping of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which killed over 200,000 people. Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's surrender soon after, bringing World War II to an end.